Hey there, it's Mr. Toshik Global, and we're going to talk today about variables and how to make your first game using Scratch. So this is a fun part, and I know kids have been talking to me right along, students have been saying, "Hey, I want to see if we can design some games." So here you go, it's your first chance. Now, to do a game, you're going to use something called a variable, and that's a very important part of this lesson is something called a variable. Let's look at what this game does. Now, right here we have really three sprites and a value, a score here called good nutrition points. Now we've got two nutritional choices, bananas and cheesy poofs. If you click on the banana, you gain a point. If you click on the cheesy poofs, you lose a point. You actually can go as negative as you want, positive as you want. It goes up as high as you want, as low as you want. And what's happening is we're storing that value in something called this good nutrition points variable. And if I click the green flag, it kind of resets me back to 0. Now, what the heck is a variable? Let's talk about what a variable is. Well, a variable is really just a bucket. A bucket stores a value. That's all it is. Just something that stores a value, meaning it can store a game score. It can store a list of options. It can store the value of a bunch of different things. You can have as many variables as you want to run your program. For this one, you're only going to need one, and it's going to be your score. Now, in our example, we call it good nutrition points, and I have two options. And I've programmed the banana so that when the sprite is clicked, I use my event handler, when this sprite is clicked, I change good nutrition points by 1. It means it goes up by 1. We call that incrementing. If I go over here to when the sprite clicks, and I'm now in the cheesy poofs, it changes good nutrition points by going -1. All of this is stuff you do in the data drawer. I'm not going to tell you how, you're going to have to figure it out, but you've got a really good example here. You'll also note, and I think I put it in this sprite, I think I put it in my label sprite, when the green flag is clicked, set good nutrition points to 0. So I've created a reset right here. And that allows me to reset my score, send it as low as I want, send it as high as I want, and reset it anytime I want. That's the basic project. Let's go over what we're expecting. You're going to learn the use of the variable, so you've got this screencast to help you. And then you're going to create a game with at least 4 good nutrition and bad nutrition choices. I showed you 2. I want you to do at least 4. Make sure that you've established a variable called score. User clicks on a good choice, they earn a point. When on a bad choice, they lose a point. Sorry, there's a typo there. I'll have it fixed. And then finally, establish 4 more really good and really bad choices. So see if you can compare cheesy poofs to really bad food that's really bad for you, and maybe a greasy something like pizza and have that lose 3 points, and then something really good like kale and have that gain you 3 points or something like that. Then that'll get you, that's a 30-point project right there if you create a game. Now, I'll give you a couple of extra credit options. One is do a second game. Have a little fun with this. Change the theme entirely. Get 10 extra points for that. And if you really want a 15-point challenge, you cannot ask for help for this challenge because it's a special programming challenge. But here's the challenge. You can create a winning score. So you can say, let's say at 10 points or 15 points, if the user gets their good nutrition score up to 15 points, that means they've learned what choices are good choices. You can then have them get a notifier with a sound or a sprite that appears or some such thing. And I'll just give you a couple of hints. You're going to need an if-then block out of the control drawer. You're going to need a logic block out of the operators drawer. And you're going to need to tell a sprite or a sound to do something when the score variable hits a certain value. I'm going to tell you right up front, this is something that really is done later on. I'm kind of giving you an advance because some of you guys want to set the table for some really good scores in your grade book. So here it is, your first lesson of the 4th marking period, and you have an extra credit option right here, but you have to do the extra credit without my help. Best of luck to you, and enjoy programming your first game.